Throughout my first 13 years, I've had many short-lived loves and hobbies, like skateboarding, birds, lizards, dogs, but one stuck with me: cooking and baking. It was 2 years ago. I was in 6th grade, I was hungry, and didn't know what I wanted for dessert. So I thought, I'll have cookies. I got up, gathered whole wheat flour, confectioner's sugar, eggs, chocolate, and made cookies. Well, I tried to. I wasn't precise with measurement, I didn't whisk the eggs enough, and overall, I failed pretty miserably because, quite honestly, I had no idea of what I was doing. I was the definition of a noob. But on that day of failure, I promised myself to pursue the quest of baking the perfect chocolate chip cookie. That summer, with trial and a lot of error, I had made over 15 different chocolate chip cookie recipes, ranging from 2-inch thick cookies to 1 centimeter thin cookies to practically even fudge. I'd tried it all. Soon, baking turned into helping my dad prepare dinner. Every night, he prepares a delicious and healthy meal for my family and I. And unlike everything else I do in the house, I never helped him. One night, he was making one of my favorite meals, chicken marsala, and asked if I wanted help. I was bored and hungry, so I said sure. That night, I just chopped mushrooms. The next time, I made the sauce, and after that, the chicken. Soon enough, I was cooking whole meals. Then, my family caught on to my passion, and on a work trip to Japan, my mom got me a chef's knife. Then, my aunt got me a How to Use Your Knife book, and I read it over and over again until I knew how to cut correctly. How to cut meat and veggies with flair, and how to not chop off your fingers, which is easier said than done. I began practicing cutting mushrooms, bananas, apples, anything I could get my hands on. I learned that cooking isn't pure brute and brawn, but rather art and science. I started reading articles and watching videos on what and how to cook. Another way I researched was with my other love, that I'm sure many of you share: watching TV. On my quest to find a good cooking TV show, my dad said, "Watch The Bear. Mom and I started it, and we think you'll like it." For those of you who have never heard of The Bear, it's a psychological comedy drama about the stress and intense effort of a chef who returns home in his family's time of need, Chef Carmen Berzatto. Now, I watched the first episode, and let's just say I wasn't exactly hooked. It was much less engaging than South Park or other shows I may watch. In fact, I only started watching the second episode a month later. But once I started watching more of The Bear, everything changed. I immediately connected with the main character, Carmy, a flawed and complex person. In Carmy, I finally had someone to match my ambition, my love for cooking, and my drive for perfection. Up until then, I'd only thought of myself as a cook or baker, but then I thought of myself as a chef, someone who creates in the kitchen and turns their passion into edible love. Soon, I started baking pastries and treats for birthdays, holidays, really any occasion I could find. Like I'd bake cookies for advisory days. For my brother's birthday, I asked what he wanted. And like the kind, considerate older brother he is, he Googled hardest things to bake and told me to make baked Alaska. Now, despite what Google said, it wasn't all that hard. But even though he was just trying to mess with me, I saw it as a way to spread my love and to share my craft. My dad, being the one who brought me into cooking, was there to help me every step of the way. Cooking also happens to be my father's love language, second only to yelling. Let's just say the kitchen isn't exactly always a calm space, but his criticism helps drive me towards my perfection. My mom's place in the kitchen is a little less hands-on and more of the creative muse. She shows her love and tries to help me by giving me ideas and buying me tools and accessories I might need, like the knife from Japan or a rubber Coca-Cola spatula. She's taught me not to mind what my dad says, and that it's okay to mess up. If you're not making mistakes, you're not learning. All my life, I've had the desire to be great, but I was never sure at what. Now I know that even if I don't get a pin in wrestling or a score in lacrosse, I can be proud knowing that whatever I make in the kitchen will be loved, cherished, and enjoyed by my friends and family. When you bake something, not only are you creating something delicious, but you're creating an art. Baking isn't just tasty, it's an art, a pursuit, it's a lifestyle. When I bake, I'm immersed. I forget about my surrounding stresses and drown in the batter. Baking has taught me that nothing's natural. If you want to get somewhere, you need to work at it. You need to knead the dough, whisk the eggs, you need to reduce the sauce, try different measures and approaches. White sugar or brown sugar, cold butter or brown butter, chocolate chips or chocolate chunks. I've tried them all, over and over and over again, all to find that perfect chocolate chip cookie. And on this quest for the perfect cookie, I realized something. It's not just about the cookie, it's about me. I am that cookie. We're all that cookie in some way. All of us want to be perfect, but what is perfect? To me, a perfect cookie might be crunchy and chewy, while someone else here might like them soft and tender. Perfect can't simply be defined. It's not just a word, but a state of perception. Some people might not like you or your cookies, and it sucks when they don't. But we all forget far too often that this is just the way people see us. Others' opinions don't define us. What defines us is where we are today and how we got there. If you want to achieve your image of perfect, you need to try new recipes, new ingredients, measures, and approaches. The same way you need to meet new people, try new sports and classes, all to find your version of perfect. And like taste in foods or sweets, taste in interests in people may change over time. A cup of all-purpose flour, a pinch of humor, a tablespoon of vanilla extract, 100 grams of sarcasm. I finally found my perfect recipe. For now. Like my cookie recipe, I'm constantly evolving. It's not just about the end result, but the process as well. Baking has taught me that nothing is natural. That baking has taught me to achieve my own perfection. Whether it's in sports, school, cooking, what matters is what I think is perfect. So the next time you find yourself criticizing someone else's perfection, remember everyone is trying their best. Find perfection within yourself and lead your life with love. Thank you.